Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cast. Guys, today I have for you another epic game on a hybrid map. I asked my community, I begged and pleaded for more water gameplay, and the community has delivered. Gondor had put out the call, and Rohan will answer. Thank you to all my community members, all the Escalation players that have been gracing us with these amazing games on the water maps and hybrid maps. I really can't thank you enough. And also, just thank you to my community in general. Couldn't do it without all you guys. I appreciate everyone's support. Thank you all for being here. And I'm sure this game is going to really be one for the ages as well. It is a 3v3. Let me go ahead and introduce the players. Here in blue, we have Paradox. In brown, we have Chewbacca. In red, TA Rookie. In pink, we have Havoc Harbinger. In purple, Reaper. No, excuse me. In purple, Annie Daddy. And in light blue, Reaper. So two of our players have gone air first, one player on each team. Interestingly, typically when a player goes air first, they will rush out an early bomber, but Brown opting to instead run down to this island, this plateau way in the south, and start reclaiming some energy. Oh, I guess these trees give a little bit of metal. Not a huge amount, but that's an interesting strategy. I've never seen that on this map. So Brown not going for the bomber play. And it looks like Pink neither. So neither team really going for the bomber play. Brown looking for air control early on with a lot of freedom fighters. Just sort of floating around, making sure that the enemy team does not get any kind of early aggression of their own. I will say on this map, taking control of the islands is very important. Guys, if you haven't watched a cast on this map, it is separated into three parts, you could say. The middle landmass or hallway here, and then the two side islands with a river or a pond in between them. And whichever team can control the islands has a huge economic advantage. There's tons of metal. There's geothermals as well on both islands. So Brown even saying in the chat, I'm going to try to take the islands. Guys, I haven't watched the replay in advance, so I have no idea what happens. I will say we don't have some of the big name players that we do sometimes have in these games, like EXE and Herald and Race and all of those really kind of big name people, but nonetheless, I'm sure this game will still give us something extremely entertaining to cast and watch. But already, the Southern team being a little aggressive, lots of AKs coming up. Brown again with some freedom fighters, and what I was saying earlier is that the teams that control the islands have a huge advantage. So having a player take air control here is very, very smart. You don't often see this even in 1v1 games until maybe later on, but it is very difficult if one team has air control for the other team to expand. Already Brown taking out a radar, a con, two mexes, a third mex, maybe a second con. So Brown extremely, extremely aggressive with these fighters and getting a lot accomplished as well. Looks like he's going to get a second con for his trouble. So, yeah, Brown really needs to expand to an island as well because he's only got two mexes to his name, and that's going to make it very difficult to actually build anything. As one might imagine, you do need metal and energy in Total Annihilation to build an army. But hold that thought because Mr. Reaper seems to have found an opening here. Red kind of caught with his pants down. TA Rookie sort of being true to his name. There's really almost no defense at all up here. Really just a few Roccos. It seemed like he was trying to get a mass of Roccos, but was not. They were not in position. Because of that, they will lose this middle resource of these mexes. I'm sorry, words are hard, I guess. But nonetheless, they will ultimately clean that up. A group of AKs is not going to end the game, but mostly just be really annoying. Blue will reclaim these, or he will rebuild those mexes pretty quickly. And ultimately, the game still very even. Brown, I think, very nice air control, but he's going to need to take control of one of the islands. Bringing some Atlases over with K-bots in them. And this will allow him to expand much more quickly than if he were to use air cons. Of course, the advantage of air cons is that they can build anywhere on the map except underwater. But the disadvantage is that they build very, very slow. They don't have the best build speed in the game. And so Brown has decided to instead build that K-bot lab and get transports and move the cons onto the other side of the map. So one thing I love about this map is that you do see all different styles of combat. So already we're seeing both teams build a naval yard. Hovercraft is very common as well. And Pelicans being a form of hovercraft. We may end up seeing those. It seems more than likely. But neither team has even attempted to take the island so far. And we are past 8 minutes. So it's a little surprising. I usually will try to go for an island as quickly as possible. You can sometimes build a hovercraft plant here or here, and then build some hovercrafts to go over to the islands. Of course, ships are stronger than hovercraft in the water, which makes sense. But the problem with ships is that they cannot traverse the land. This is not Forged Alliance. There are no walking destroyers. So Brown, the first player to plant his flag like Christopher Columbus on the North Island and tell the savage wildlife, this is my land. God wills it. But Pink, perhaps the second player, moving his commander, walking his commander all the way over here. So that was quite a trek. He started here and he had to... Oh, I didn't even know I could move these. That's really cool. But he had to walk all the way across here and then through the water. So Pink has had quite a journey of his own. So with that, both teams sort of even on the island game. The northern team taking the northwest island and the southern team working on the southeast island, but neither island has been fully claimed yet. As Harold has said, storm meta. TA Rookie spamming out storms, and also on T2. Brown still picking up cons and transports and going for the South Island as well. So Brown being very expansionist. Quite English or quite French indeed. True colonial master here, taking over all the land, planting his flag wherever he can get his grubby paws. And even here, even moving to their plateau, so very nice. I'm impressed by what Brown's doing here. He started with 2 mexes, and even though his teammates have like probably 10 mexes or more apiece, Brown has done much more than them in terms of expanding on having map presence, air control. Of course, red and blue are building an army, so that it's not that they're doing nothing. I have casted games where some of the TR players truly do nothing. So I will give credit where credit is due. Red and blue are building an army, and that could turn into something. Purple pumping out Manticore. Manticore, the core hybrid missile tank. Brown, again, with his nice aerial control and micro, being in the right places at the right time, and with enough freedom fighters to really cause problems. He could even kill Pink. But Pink is prepared for this, at least a little bit. He's got some Avengers of his own. Aerial combat will ensue. Good micro by both players, but ultimately, Brown doesn't have enough left here to kill this commander, unfortunately. Nice job by Pink having that aerial squadron ready for defense. And of course, Pink is also taking control of the sea, so Pink covering all his bases here, doing a great job, really attempting to control the southeast corner. Brown, of course, does have a single constructor, but with that commander down here, that shouldn't be able to accomplish too much. And now, with these enforcers shelling the shoreline, say that 3 times fast. But Brown's still gaining control of the top island as well. So the game is very even so far. I can't say that either team has a huge advantage. I do like what Pink is doing, though. These enforcers causing a lot of trouble on the shoreline. And they should be able to get this geo if they see it, which they may. They need perhaps a better radar coverage. Yeah, they need a little better radar coverage or scouting. They don't quite see it. But nonetheless, Pink causing problems, not allowing blue to control this area or get all of his metal. Nice job there. Red pushing with a lot of Roccos, but Reaper on a similar number. It doesn't seem like either player having an overwhelming advantage in this particular battle. But one thing I was going to say about the Manticore, they're an interesting unit. They're kind of like a super Samson or a super slasher. They just shoot these powerful tracking missiles, air to ground and air to air. The interesting thing about them is that they're not really great until they hit critical mass. Once you hit enough, Manticore. Once you get enough of these, they really do start to become scary, especially against just T1. There are no defenses. Critical mass of Manticore can win games. It's an interesting sort of tank because they're not great in small numbers, but in large numbers, you can simply eviscerate, especially groups of T1 units. And the problem is that T1 units don't really have much counterplay. There is just no way these things can, instigators and AKs can even get in range. The Manticore even outranged the rocket K-bots as well, if microed correctly. So, holy cow, Purple getting a lot done with these. These, really making these look overpowered. Manticore isn't overpowered, but Purple making it look that way. And now, Northern team in a bit of trouble. It seems like there is nothing standing between Purple simply walking into Blue's base and killing production structures. Pyros are okay, but the Manticore can kite them. It will depend a little on how well Purple controls this. Doesn't want to get them too close. The Pyros do a lot of damage, but the Manticore outrange them very well. So the Pyros in trouble. The vehicle plant's already gone. Blue is in serious trouble. And Red could bring some of his forces to help, but unfortunately what Red has is not equipped to stop all these Manticore. Blue in trouble. He's going to lose his advanced K-Bot lab, perhaps. Holy crap. Purple really making the Manticore look like the most overpowered unit in the entire game. Can the Northern team do anything about these, like, these 8 or 9 Manticore are really just kind of winning the game by themselves. Fido's a decent counter. Fortunately, Freedom Fighter's not, because the Manticore is the hybrid missile tank. Can also shoot air very well. But with Fido's and perhaps Zeus's, maybe the Northern team can keep the dream alive for now. But a ton of economic damage has already been done. Blue lost his vehicle plant. He does hold on to the advanced K-Bot lab. So he needs to thank TA Rookie for keeping him alive, because he was almost certainly dead. It was just a 1v1. Luckily, it is not a 1v1. It is a team game. And it looks like Pink has kicked Brown off this island, which is what we expected. Pink had a commander, and Brown only had a single construction K-Bot. So that's like in chess. It'd be like a queen versus a pawn. Really not much a single constructor can do against a commander. So Brown will be kicked off that island. However, he's still building some things on this island, but Light Blue creating a K-Bot lab, so he wants to kick him off. The Northern team wants to control this island better. They don't want to just let the Southern team have both of these side territory. That is extremely unfortunate. If one team gets all of that, it does create situations that begin to feel a little dire, a little kind of unwinnable when the enemy team has such a massive economic lead that you can't really come back. Pink on T2 air, but thus far not building any bombers or gunships yet. So right now, nothing too out of the ordinary for the like near the 20-minute mark. Everyone's at least on T2, I think. But neither team doing anything too spectacular at this moment. I'm looking at the player bases, seeing if I can find something that might be super noteworthy. The thing is, it's a little early to go for T3. Sub 20 minutes. It's not impossible, of course. I mean, you can try it, but you really lack the economy. Usually you need some fusions. No players have even started building fusions yet that I've seen. So at this point, everyone slowly building up their army. We do have to give credit to Brown. He did take this. It's 3 metal spots. I'd like to see him take the Geo as well. That's free energy. Free real estate there. But yeah, right now, I don't see anything too out of the ordinary going on. Light Blue building Gimps. Dare I use the sonar command and crash the replay? If I do, it's my fault. Oh my god. I didn't crash the replay. We're still in business, ladies and gentlemen. And if Light Blue gets enough Gimps, those should shred through even these light laser towers pretty quickly. But he'll need a few of them. Brown with some transports will bring some Mavericks. So Brown on the oh shoot. Oh yeah, my brain's not working today, guys. I'm sorry. I can't think of the player name here. Yeah, why is my brain not working? Anyway, Shockwave. Yeah, Brown on the Shockwave game plan. Bringing Mavericks and transports. Dropping them off in enemy territory. And even a partisan, you love to see it. You love to see air defense included in here. It's one thing Shockwave often doesn't do. So having some air defense and a jammer with your Mavericks will make them live quite a bit longer and be more effective. This geothermal power plant going to die almost instantly. The DPS that Mavericks do in this game is a little bit insane. It's just so much. Of course, they are like glass cannons. But in this kind of situation, there's just nothing better. They're so strong, and Pink attempting to throw up defenses, but it's just too late. These crashers aren't going to achieve anything. And I don't know what happened to his commander. His commander went under the water. So Pink on T2, naval. But thank God his commander wasn't here. Brown could have just killed him with Mavericks. But instead, Brown is just going to kill everything else on the island. This whole island gone. So very well done by Brown. Doing a great job this game of making some decent decisions. And Pink going T2 naval. I don't know about that. I guess it can work, but Pink seeming to struggle with resources right now. And after losing all of his eco on this island, it's going to take him even longer. So T2 naval and escalation is a massive investment. You really shouldn't even consider it unless it's going to offer something very useful. And I'm just not sure in this game it's going to offer that much. Sure, he can bombard the shores. He can maybe kill some of this stuff. Maybe even reach the advanced hover platform. But it's probably not worth the investment. It's just not worth the amount of metal and energy you have to spend just building the advanced shipyard and then building rangers or warlords. It's extremely expensive, but on the bright side, he can upgrade his moho extractors underwater, so that could make it worth it. It will take a while, though. Light blue finally moving up here, but trying to use thuds, I think, to outrange the light laser towers and doing a good job of it. Brown is going to have to respond. Maybe bring some Mavericks over to this side. Mavericks, of course, would be very good against thuds. Possibly not as good against Gimps. It would depend on how many Mavericks there were. But Brown does seem to be bringing over something. Brown not content to let his northwest island be taken without any resistance. The middle has been uncharacteristically quiet ever since Purple did that Manticore attack about 5-10 minutes ago, or whenever it was. But neither side really has the greatest defenses at all. Typically on a map like this, you would see rows of heavy laser towers and maybe even Punishers and Guardians surrounded by Dragon's Teeth. It is a bit surprising that both teams relying almost exclusively on their armies. Okay. Nice Hydra shot there. But one needs to be careful. He doesn't want to micro all of these Reapers into the range of all this Fido spam. Oh man. Now Purple perhaps in a bit of trouble. He could lose all of this. Nice composition by Red here. That battle will continue to rage, but now there is another battle for the North Sea. fleets of destroyers and escort frigates, vanguards, clashing here, and it's hard to say who has the upper hand. However, light blue has some submarines, and that may give him the slight advantage that he needs to win this. Submarines, they don't have the most health, but they do a lot of damage, especially if they can survive, if nothing is targeting them. They can put out a huge amount of DPS at a large range. So a couple of submarines included into Reaper's army really could be what gives him the edge in this fight. He doesn't win by much. Most of his army is pretty damaged. But he does have just enough to break through here. And Red doesn't have anything to protect him, but in the middle, this battle continuing to rage as well. Fighting happening at all corners of the map. There's also gunships that have come in as well to take out Brown's Mavericks that were sort of loitering around Pink's old base. And now this advanced vehicle plant. Not long for this world. Very nice job by Red. Great counterattack here. And a good composition of Fidos, Roccos, and Zeuses. And some anti-air as well. But most of the anti-air is dead, and now Pink bringing the rapiers in to help his teammates. Red saying in the chat, brawlers. Those are not brawlers, good sir. Those are rapiers. Get it right. The rapiers, so nasty. Such a great defensive option, especially if there's not enough air defense. But some partisans bringing up the back line. Brown Inspector Gadget this game. He's got all the tools he needs, really at the right times. Brown has been pretty impressive with his play, especially since he's been playing more of a support role in this middle position with only 2 mexes at the start. Really making the most out of very little. And offering his team a lot of support. Guys, sometimes that is just the way you have to play in Escalation team games. Can't always be the main character. Can't have main character syndrome. Sometimes you just need to trust your teammates and support them. And hope that they will be able to carry the game with your help. But as we can see, light blue has now taken this entire northern quadrant of the map, this northwest quadrant. Battles raging in the southeast as well. However, the issue is, blue only has a few hovercraft, and pink has quite a fleet. Executioners as well moving in, but red continuing to push here. The rapiers doing what they can, but these partisans extremely effective at stopping these Reapers from just killing Red's entire army. This is one thing I will say I do like about Escalation as compared to OTA or ProTA. The partisan in OTA and ProTA, T2K bots are both ARM and core, have no air defense. So the partisan does give you a nice option that does not exist in some other mods and in OTA as well. So in this game, partisans really showing their strength, keeping those gunships out of the skies, and allowing Red's army to move in almost uncontested. There is a couple of heavy laser towers here. One of them almost dead. Red just sending an assembly line of units down here. Brown with some Fidos as well. Purple needs to be careful. His commander is only at about 3rd HP and now losing both aircraft plants. But these 2 heavy laser towers, the only line of defense left here, keeping purple in the game. It's just so close. Even though the southern team having both islands and naval control, the northern team has broken through the middle and perhaps could win just by good old-fashioned A-click in StarCraft terms. A-click into your opponent's base. I guess in TA it'd just be right-click or left-click, depending on what you prefer. But essentially just moving your units into their base. Even though the southern team had done a better job of controlling the map, they did break in the middle. At least they did temporarily. Purple creating the Alamo here. A nice Custer's last stand. 4 heavy laser towers working on, or 3 working on a 4th and working on a Punisher as well. So, does the northern team have what they need? Oh, I missed something here, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I think... I apologize. I don't know what I missed. It's almost worth... That's embarrassing. Yeah, I didn't get to see that. I was so busy focused on this this little engagement here that could win the game, but just is barely not enough. Rapier's coming back in, but the partisans are in position. Can he kill the partisans fast enough? I don't think he can. There's Jethro's as well, so... I missed what happened here. I think probably light blue had some kind of drop. Maybe he pulled a naval transport, dropped off some units up there, but I missed it. But ultimately, they did clean it up in time. It took out all of this, though. There was a couple fusions, and all the eco here is gone. So the southern team not ready to just roll over and die quite yet, as red and brown really putting on the pressure, and these Gats and Punishers the only thing keeping the southern team's hopes and dreams alive. Holy cow, this is close. A nice defensive line here. There's 6 players in this game. 5 of them are playing Total Annihilation. But purple, Mr. Annie Daddy, he's playing tower defense. Okay, blue on T2 hovercraft. He will engage pink's naval force here, pushing down this part of the map. But pink, I think, will have enough to stop this. But what a crazy back and forth game. I can't believe purple's holding on. What a freaking Chad. The, man, I gotta tell you, when the girls see purple's tower defense strategies, they just can't help themselves. This man is a legend. Very, very nice by purple. And it's kind of funny because northern team really could have maybe just gone around him, maybe gone this way and avoided most of it. Of course, now with the Punishers, it's a little harder to do that. But nonetheless, blue on T2 hovers, and pink attempting to keep control of the of this southeast pond. All players on the northern team attempting to break through here. Nemesis are strong, but not quite as strong as Executioners. This game has been a complete clown fiesta. It has just kind of been all over the place. Let's check out the player bases, make sure I'm not missing anything. That would be too important. Southern team really on the clean energy game plan with all these wind farms. Very, very impressive eco there. And again, northern team may be having Not quite enough to break through here. I'd like to see them build something other than just Fidos. It's clearly not going to cut the mustard. Pink with his first Warlord of the game. And this could be used to shell the armies that are coming, that are trickling down through the north. But again, I don't think that just Fidos is going to be enough to break this. They need diplomats, T2 artillery, pillagers, diplomats, Berthas, big Bertha, great here. They've got control of the middle of the map. Just shell these defenses from afar. Tactical nuke could be perfect. There's no anti-nuke. Tons of options here. Even a bombing run. There's really very little air defense. Just some T1 fighters. So there's a lot of options here. The northern team just building a ton of Fidos, and that's it's not really going to do it, unfortunately. But Brown has made his way down here. Slipped past the defenses. He's going to kill most of Purple's base in this area. But that is likely all he can get done. Well, he'll kill the shipyard as well. But this Warlord shouldn't have much of a problem cleaning up what is left of these Fidos. So, nice job by Brown finding that opening, taking out this part of Pink's base. But again, Purple's tower defense skills way too strong here. As the game, once again, very close, but it's hard to say which side is winning even. I would have said the North was winning. Oh! More rapiers, and this time no partisans to protect this, so these Fidos are just sitting ducks. Yeah, Chewbacca in the chat even saying, shit, he is in a bad situation indeed without any air defense. But again, the southern team in control of the sea, but the northern team is in control of most of this landmass. Brown saying it seems like we lost this one. So Brown seems to think the southern team is winning. Not sure that's the case. So this is what I was mentioning earlier, just avoiding these defenses altogether, moving down the side. But unfortunately, the Punishers can still hit you. The gunships are there to stop this from working. So again, the northern team, they've attempted the Fido Gambit. I think that's been done to death. No reason to beat a dead horse. It's time for a different strategy. Panther's really not it. Merles would be wonderful here. Merles, Lugers, even penetrators could be amazing. But just stop with the Fido spam. It's just, that's clearly not it. Let's see, what else is going on up here? Nothing. I'd also, again, man, some well-placed Big Berthas. Long-range plasma cannons on top of that ridge there could just rain down hell on this position with no counterplay. Well, there is counterplay. Pink could take his gunships, obviously, and try to stop them. But speaking of his gunships, Pink has found his way to the northern corner of the map. But this, I think, may be a mistake. He's just throwing his gunships away. They're not going to accomplish anything. Way too much air defense up here in this quadrant of the map. Now the Rangers, the Hydras, taking out some mexes. But again, neither team, I'm not seeing that either team has a winning strategy. Both teams staying alive. But I don't like that pink... It's just... He has control of this whole island. Or he has control of the sea, so he should have control of this island, but... Just hasn't really taken it at all. It's so many free resources that he's just throwing away. Light blue at least has mexes on the island. He could upgrade those to T2, that would help a lot. To boost his eco, but... Even having them on T1 is a ton of extra resources. Blue sending down these nemesis, but with the warlords in the fray, that is just not going to do it. Blue needs to come up with a different strategy. I have to say, even though the northern team has done a great job of pushing down the middle and taking control of the middle landmass, they haven't been making the best decisions in terms of unit choice, and also their teamwork hasn't been great. Brown has been helping some, but I'm really amazed that at the 42-minute mark, not a single player has even started T3. Typically, in a game like this, we would have seen T3 a long time ago. Usually by the 20-30 minute mark, someone is already starting it at the very least. So this game could go on for a while, but again, purple's defenses here, very effective, very difficult to break through. There are counters, but the northern team not really building the kinds of counters that they're going to need here. This warlord, well placed, and causing the southern team... Excuse me, the warlord's causing the northern team a lot of trouble. With these shells now bombarding the army. Oh man, this is a massacre. Oh, these warlords, look at this. All these units just getting shelled out of existence here. A relentless bombardment campaign by pink. That has got to be annoying. And blue bringing some pyros. Try and stop the pain. This warlord is so damn tanky. He will kind of block it here. He prevents the warlord from escaping that easily. But with an executioner, the warlord will die and the executioner will die. So nice job by blue, but there's more warlords in the water. These things are just so strong. Killing hovercraft and land units and basically everything else. Blue attempting a sort of a beachhead, but not successfully, unfortunately. Red will catch wind of this before the cancer can really spread. Perhaps push light blue off the coast here. Man, these warlords are such a joy to watch. I said earlier that T2 Naval wasn't worth it, but this game, it really has been. It has allowed both pink and light blue to take control of the sea and just really prevent the northern team from being able to move around the map comfortably. It's just such a problem. Once a team has warlords in the sea like this, it just becomes so difficult to stop. Blue attempting here. He's got a lot of hovercraft. That was a tactical nuke. Yeah. Blue shot a tactical nuke at the warlords, but ended up just killing mostly his units. And now pink repairing this warlord. This warlord may live. It's at a sliver of health, but being repaired. There's kind of a bug in TA where if you're repairing a unit, Even if it should die, sometimes it won't. So this warlord has probably already been killed a few times. But now, shelling the shoreline, and it may even be able to kill the Punisher. It looks like light blue has dropped off some cans in the north. What can these do? It doesn't look like they're going to be able to do much. The team is ready for that, but the warlords continuing to shell everything. Blue cannot kill this monster. Let's see how much health it has. Or it kills. 23 kills on that one warlord alone. So take back everything I said about T2 Naval not being worth it. In this game, it has been dominating. Go ahead and get rid of my scribblings. Red moving through here. Light blue needs to move this back. He doesn't want to just let it die, but he's not paying attention, so this warlord will be killed for no real reason. But Pink's warlord's alive and well. Pink, a few rapiers, moving into the fray. We'll take out a T2 energy storage, but not much else. But things beginning to become very difficult for the northern team now, as both light blue and pink have done a great job of using their naval supremacy to keep those coastlines very clear. And now starting to shell the shoreline as well. They took out that T2 tactical nuke. Not that the T2 nukes can do much to warlords anyway. But, oh my god. Pink going for T3 naval on this map? What kind of shenanigan nonsense are we watching here? I did not expect in my wildest dreams to see T3 naval on a map with this kind of situation. Very, very strange indeed. A very strange game for sure. I don't think I've ever seen one quite like this. Both teams making very interesting choices. And I'm sure I've missed a lot too. I know I've missed some drops. I apologize for that. There's just a lot going on. But finally, blue on T3. It took 50 minutes for him to get there. But these warlords are just causing so much havoc and trauma to the northern team's base and army. Again, I apologize for any drops I've missed. I just haven't really been on the ball today. I'll do the best I can here. Purple also on T3, pumping out a pounder. Pounder would be very good against all this. And it seems like blue or brown has given red some extra Fidos. Again, I don't like the Fido game plan. It hasn't worked the past 10 times. I sort of wonder if it... I don't think it's going to work this time, but maybe the northern team can prove me wrong, but these are the kind of defenses that one expects. And when I was saying earlier that you expect a lot of defense on this map, this is what I'm talking about. That is a lot of defense we've got. Let me slow it down here. This is worthy of our attention. We've got Vipers, we got Doomsday Machines, we got Heavy Laser Towers, we got Punishers, Light Laser Towers, Dragon's Teeth, I mean, the kitchen sink. We've got cans. This is a fearsome army that Red has. But there is so many defenses. 3 Doomsday Machines, 4 Punishers, 2 Vipers, 5 Heavy Laser Towers, Dragon's Teeth as well, and God only knows how many Light Laser Towers. So even as impressive as this looks, I don't think it's going to be enough. And now Pink bringing the heavy bombers into the fray with the payloads. Very, very nicely done here. Purple, the tower defense Giga Chad. Women cannot help themselves around this guy. He has a euphoric effect on human beings, unless you're the enemy team, in which case you will simply sink into despair as your armies are quite literally lasered and shelled into pieces. That can't be a great feeling, but I don't know why they thought this would work. Maybe a scouting failure. That's just way too many defenses for a T2 army, unless you've got like a million Merles. And even then it would be tough with all these warlords shelling them from the north. Uh-oh. It looks like perhaps there's a bit of tilt on the northern team. I think Red has unallied his teammates. Red is angry. Red now taking his anger and frustration at the purple Giga Chad out on his defense, or out on his teammates. So anyway, guys, that wasn't the most high skill game I've ever casted, but it was still fun. Sometimes these lower skill games can be fun for a different reason, because it's not always like the most efficient or optimal plays. So you never really know what to expect. It's always kind of chaotic and crazy. So this was definitely a chaotic and crazy game. All kinds of things happening. I'm sorry I missed some of it. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next cast.